What's going on, guys? Instant reaction to tonight's game. The 49ers fall to the Seattle Seahawks tonight on Monday Night Football. 24-21 final. Very interesting ball game tonight. Disappointing game from the 49ers perspective. Up 10-0. I thought the 49ers would take over. And Brandon, congratulations. But Egon, I mean, there's a lot of season left. It's hard, I didn't expect the Niners to go 19-0. I wanted it to happen. And that was a great game. It was, and guess what? I like the 49ers better than Seattle, and the people on my channel love the 49ers, but I hate ties so much. So, Seattle, like that final kick, like I didn't mind that he made it because Seattle just outplayed the 49ers. And you know what? I was just happy that game got to overtime. The 49ers fans had to thank their lucky stars it got to overtime because KJ Wright had that interception. I mean, that was the easiest interception. And then another linebacker undercut like a ball that was headed towards Dante Pettis on the crosser. So the fact that rookie kicker made that 46-yarder, Chase McLaughlin made it to even send the game to overtime, was absolutely a blessing from the gods that kicker made that 46-yarder. So even though he didn't hit the 47-yarder in overtime, I mean, that wasn't a given kick in overtime. There was pressure up the middle. The fact that the game got to overtime in the first place was spectacular. Now, third and whatever it was, 16 at the end of regulation, there was a blatant missed hold on the Seahawks right tackle as Wilson was rolling to his right. There was a blatant mishold that allowed Wilson to get outside of the pocket. I thought that the refs also, I didn't like the premature call of Wilson in the grasp the play before that. That was a BS call that actually went against Seattle. And then in overtime, Geno Smith called tails. He said to the ref, he said, "I want tails." And the ref said, "Okay." Geno calls heads. And the coin toss ended up being heads. It was absurd how the referee did not hear Geno Smith call tails. Unbelievable. But the Niners were sloppy. They had a 10-0 game. Seattle came back. Jadeveon Clowney was absolutely spectacular. And Rafaela was amazing. G-Man 409, it was great. And guess what? The 49ers didn't play their best game tonight. George Kittle is the horse of this offense. He's Jimmy's security blanket. The running game didn't really get going. I think it was Reed and strip sack, 10-0 strip sack fumble recovery touchdown. That was a huge point in the game. And then the third quarter, Seattle dominates. They get some turnovers. And guess what? An amazing play by Jaworski Tart before the half to take the ball away from Metcalf, or it could have been an even worse outcome of this game. I thought Seattle actually outplayed the 49ers pretty badly. I mean, if Tart didn't take it away from Metcalf there, Emmanuel Mosley, Tart, this defensive line of the Niners, they played great all night. Russell Wilson is the MVP. Probably it's either him or Lamar Jackson. 8-2 Seattle. I think that Seattle, I mean, I'm very impressed by Seattle because I did not think that Seattle, I didn't think they looked good at all this year, even though they're 7-2, like they barely beat the Browns. They have a shootout with the Tampa Bay Bucks where their defense looks embarrassingly bad. Like they always skate by. And then in this Monday night game, I'm like, okay, the Niners are the best team that this Seahawks team has played all year. And Seattle, they played great in the third quarter, and they were down 10-0, Kendrick Bourne touchdown, and Pete Carroll just got his guys to keep playing, and they stayed the course, and their defense really played their best game of the year. The Niners aren't going to go undefeated. It's a wacky divisional game. I think the Niners are still the best team in the NFL. They're still my pick to win the Super Bowl. And with New Orleans losing to Atlanta, it really makes things interesting now in the NFC. And the Niners still have to go to New Orleans. So that Seattle Niners game could end up being huge, but I don't think that Seattle is going to catch San Francisco. Now, a thing worth mentioning here is that Kyle Shanahan had the ball and Seattle had no timeouts, and it was, 1 minute and 40 seconds left. So if he runs the ball, then he pretty much assures a tie. But who gives a flying F about a tie? I hate ties in sports. I hate it. It's an empty feeling. And Jason Myers making that field goal, good for Seattle. Because if KJ Wright, catches the ball, if the rookie kicker doesn't hit the 46-yarder, if the linebacker of Seattle catches the ball, if DK Metcalf gets into the end zone and doesn't have a miraculous strip by Jaquiski Tartt, the game was played at San Francisco, and Russell Wilson too. In overtime, we didn't even mention Russell Wilson short-arming, throwing a terrible, uncharacteristic pass. Dre Greenlaw makes a great play, but Russ Wilson and Seattle, they could have easily won, the first time in overtime as well. Jimmy Garoppolo was doing everything he could, kind of, and he was sloppy throughout this game, and not having Kittle and Emmanuel Sanders, I was so wrong on him. I mean, he's such an important piece to this Niners team. Quan Alexander not being in there. And but George Kittle's the biggest loss. He's probably, I think he's the best tight end or receiver in the NFL. He's the best tight end in the NFL. And then as a wide receiver, is he better than DeAndre Hopkins, or is he better than, I don't know, Julio Jones, or whoever's the best receiver in football? Maybe. I think he is the best weapon in the league. Let's talk about, I'll say quickly, I mean, Dallas is just, Victor, they're just disappointing, Their defense is just, they don't come to play. And Kirk Cousins, was dumping the football off. And, Kirk Cousins, this offense is a lot easier for him. It's harder to choke when you're throwing 5-yard passes. And, Seattle, or Dallas's run defense, they play down to opponents, and they'll look good one week, terrible the next. They're like a 10-6, 9-7. I can see them missing the playoffs and Garrett getting fired. They're not consistent. And, Cowboys fans that are still holding out hope, it's Jason Garrett. It's not going to happen. They're not going to make a run at a Super Bowl championship. It's just not happening. They'd be fortunate to win the NFC East. The Eagles, as Michael Fishman has alluded to, they just have so many, easy games left. The Eagles played the Giants twice, Redskins, and Dolphins. So the Eagles' back half of the schedule is going to be pretty easy. I think Jimmy's still a really good quarterback. I would say that he's very good to great. And I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo, very good quarterback. And what is he, still 16-3 as a quarterback? Didn't have his best game tonight. But again, George Kittle was out, and I still think that he's really good. And even he still converted, down the stretch, he still converted. He still made big 3rd and 7 plays. He still was able to hit the tight ends and running backs, get up the field, spike the ball adequately. And that 4th and 1, I mean, maybe that spot also cost the 49ers maybe a chance at an easier kick. I mean, both teams did their best to kind of screw it up. Wilson's interception. Seattle also not going for it in regulation. I would have actually went for it on 4th and 2, because Seattle could have ended the damn game on 4th and 2. And Jason Myers comes up huge. He was just nails. Mitch Gibson, how you doing? Yeah, great point. I thought that, Dante Pettis on the sideline, Kendrick Bourne, 3rd and 7, drop pass, could have been an interception. That was amazing. It wasn't. But Pettis dropped there were 3rd down drops everywhere on the field tonight. You're damn straight about that. The injuries, it's so annoying. Quan Alexander, you again, you're still having that cornerback, Akilu Witherspoon it was playing at a Pro Bowl level. And then you almost have, Williams go down. It's really frustrating just to see like Williams almost get hurt. Ronald Blair was laying on the ground. It looked like a hamstring injury for Ronald Blair, who's playing really well. I think that Seattle's going to be a wild card. The 49ers, all they got to do is somehow beat the Rams out for home field, or they're hosting Green Bay. They win that game. Going to New Orleans is going to be really tough, like winning in the Superdome in general. But they have one loss, and that Falcons game is huge for the 49ers. Okay. And Seattle, I still think Seattle goes to Philly. I don't think Seattle's winning in Philly, but guess what? Seattle, I mean, what are they going to go 14-2 with this type of defense? I mean, Russell Wilson is he's ridiculous. And Pete Carroll and Wilson, like, you can't count out these guys. And it's ridiculous. Like, you look at their defense, you look at their track record, how they're kind of like narrowly escaping like all these easy games. Like, you have the Rams field goal kicker miss. You go to overtime with the Bucks, like the Browns blow the game against Seattle. The Pittsburgh Steelers with Mason Rudolph almost beat Seattle. It's like Seattle just barely escaping. They beat Arizona Cardinals, and then like Seattle just like out of nowhere tonight, like they're down 10-0. You finally think they're going to lay down, and then you have Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, that's looking like the best trade ever. I mean, all these in-season trades are amazing. I mean, Amari Cooper, amazing. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I can't tell you how wrong I was on that. I mean, the Steelers now, if they beat the Browns, they'll make the damn playoffs, Fitzpatrick is ridiculous. So all these in-season trades are brilliant, I mean, maybe Jalen Ramsey won't be brilliant, and Jalen Ramsey coming after Juju Smith-Schuster it made me even hate Ramsey even more for that. Overreaction take in general, maybe to this game. I mean, it's not going to be that big of an overreaction. I'm not selling stock on the 49ers. Like, you're going to lose eventually. You're not going to be 72 Dolphins. No, it's true. I mean, Seattle, every year they play up, they play down the competition. You're right. I mean, 1,000,000%. You're absolutely right. I've watched them play this year a little bit, but you're absolutely right. But UCF Jaguar, how you doing? Emmanuel Sanders was killing it today. Unfortunate injury with ribs. I don't know, might be 2 or 3 weeks. That game against Arizona next week should be a W, but then, you have the Ravens, Packers. It's going to be fun. This Niners defense, guys, like on 3rd and 1, you can't even get a first down against, Buckner and against Bosa and even Ronald Blair and even DJ Jones today. I think his name's DJ Jones. He blew up the center from Seattle, had an amazing play in the first quarter of the game, and I just thought the Niners just looked poised to do great. But I would say the 49ers have the best defense because, we're not sure about New England's running defense. I'll go Patriots and then maybe the Steelers, but this Steelers-Browns game is going to be fascinating because the Browns, they've been competitive every single game. But, Saquon Barkley, I have no problem with the Giants sitting him the rest of the way. And Pat Shurmur, I'll make a video on Shurmur, but I just doubt that Pat Shurmur is going to be the long-term guy that you want to build a franchise with. So it's a good point, John, but the fact is that, when the 49ers are able to have, when they're able to get Witherspoon back, this defense is going to be good enough, and Kittle is good enough. And I believe that their defense will play a lot better. Like Russell Wilson today made a lot of plays happen. Okay. That Hollister was incredible. I think Jacob is a Wyoming kid. I think he played with Josh Allen if you go all the way back to the Cheyenne, Wyoming days. But Hollister has been an unbelievable pickup for Seattle. Okay. Josh Gordon, it's good to see him back playing. It's great. I think Josh is a nice kid from all accounts. So it's great to see the guy playing again. But you got to hand it to Russell. I think he's an outstanding player. If the 49ers, they need home field, they're not going. I kind of agree with you. If the 49ers, if they lose some of these games and the Saints win the home field, or even if Seattle somehow beats them in the division, Jimmy G on the road will be tough, because eventually Drew Brees and Russell Wilson, or even Aaron Rodgers, if the Niners have to go to the Packers, maybe it becomes dicey. But the Niners right now in the driver's seat to get home field. And guess what? This defensive line in the playoffs is going to be unblockable. They're even going to be better come playoff time than they already are. So guess what? They're going to be in every game in the playoffs. Jimmy G's going to be good enough. Kittle, Emmanuel Sanders, he's clutch enough. He's good enough that he's going to play well enough to win in the playoffs. The key is getting the bye. You only have to win 2 games to get to the Super Bowl if you get the bye. And that is everything for the 49ers. But I think San Fran is going to be all right. Rob Saleh is absolutely going to get looks as a head coach candidate. I mean, this Niners team, like the way that John Lynch is kind of drafted, Saleh actually kind of just blew up overnight. I mean, he had an all right defense, but even Niners fans were lukewarm on the guy. And then this year, this defense just totally came around. And you got to give Sherman and Bosa. I mean, landing Nick Bosa, this team, like landing a guy like Bosa is such a game changer, with the schedule and with what, San Fran went through last year. It actually really helped that they kind of pseudo tanked. And Bosa is playing so much better than Quinnen Williams, so much better than Devin White. And I mean, Josh Allen is doing well, the Jaguars player, but what a pick that is. What a pick Nick Bosa has been. He's been terrific this year. And their D-line. So I think Saleh, absolutely 1,000,000% he's going to get head coaching looks. I don't know if I want the Giants to get him. He shows good enthusiasm, I think that, yeah, he'll be a head coach somewhere, and he'll be decent. He'll be like Anthony Lynn. He'll be like Mike Zimmer. He'll be average. Man, the 49ers, best defense in the league. They're undefeated. They're going to beat Green Bay at home. I mean, I think that they're going to beat Aaron Rodgers at Levi Stadium. Their defense has to play better than they did tonight, but they're going to beat Aaron Rodgers. I think that Ravens game will be absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to see Jackson go up against this defensive line. Well, the 49ers are at 9-1. Whatever. They were undefeated before tonight. Guys, it was fun. It was fun. Recapping this game, Monday Night Football, it lived up to the hype. It was a tremendous Monday night game. But I'm going to go ahead. I'll maybe make a video on Vikings, Cowboys. I'll maybe do some of those videos in a bit. But it was an absolute blast. And I'll make a video on Chase Young, the Giants too, in fervor videos. So I just wanted to come on here, give an instant reaction, and thank you guys for hanging. Thank you guys for hanging. And Steelers, what's up, man? How you doing? Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Take care, guys. Great Monday night game. Great game.